Barney. Come on. Here we go, yo. Barney. Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. And when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation. Barney's friends are big and small, they come from lots of places. After school they meet to play and sing with happy faces. Barney comes to play with you whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him. Barney.
The Worst Barney Episode is a show created by passionate Barney fans for Barney fans. Our love and respect for the Barney franchise and the talented individuals who brought this groundbreaking show to life run deep. However, like all long-running series, we recognize that not every episode resonated equally with every viewer. This series is not intended as a critique or disparagement of Barney, the creators, or the team behind the show. Instead, it's an opportunity for us to engage in lighthearted discussions and reflect on the episodes we may not have enjoyed as much as others. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone involved in the creation of Barney, and we invite all of you to join us in this playful and nostalgic journey while keeping it fun and respectful.
Hey friends! What's up guys? Not meaning to share that anymore. What's happening? Welcome to the final stream of 2024. Yeah, and our final stream for a while. So a couple things. It's different today because we're doing two episodes, or two seasons. Season 12 and 13, we're combining them. The reason for that is because we were supposed to do them separately. But because there's only 10 episodes for each one, we decided to put them together. Also, we were supposed to have a special guest with us, but that special guest couldn't make it because now they're under the weather. And they were also a reason why we were going to combine them together. Unfortunately for you guys, you don't get to have this experience, but our special guest was supposed to be the one and only Steve White, which would have been awesome because Steve has not seen any of these shows since he left the series. I can tell you that he did watch some of season 12, and I have his very first reactions of what the show had became by the time he watched it that I'll share with you guys here on this stream today. But because he is now feeling under the weather and he had just recently had surgery, he's not able to do it with us, which is a real bummer. It would have been the first time he spoke out publicly about the show and seeing it. But we wish him well. Hope that he recovers quickly and starts to feel better soon. But I do have some of his initial thoughts that I'm going to share with you guys here, which is going to be fun. But we are going to talk about season 12 and season 13 today. Get those two episodes from each of those seasons on our list. Again, this is what our bracket looks like. last time for season 11, we put on Bop Till You Drop and the Emperor's Contest. I did change it from the racist one, so people knew exactly which episode we were talking about. But we're going to finish out that bracket today, and then in a couple months come back and finally figure out what is the number one worst episode of Barney. But before we jump to there, let's bring in our hosts for tonight, which are our same usual hosts as always, the wonderful Emmy. What's up, Emmy? Welcome.
Hey. I'm at my parents' place, which is why it's all different now.
So yeah, birds singing in the background today, unfortunately.
No, although there might be a dog or two who may make a cameo appearance. So, so I'm just warning everyone in advance that if a little tiny dog decides to show her face, yeah, you may get to see that.
Awesome. And then also, of course, we have the wonderful T-Rific Tributes. Caitlin, welcome. How you doing, bro?
Hey, friends.
Someone went to Walmart.
I actually have to order this one.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing good. Doing
good. Let's see who is in here in our stream today. If you're here watching us today, say hello, say something. We're glad that you all are here. Anthony says, "We in the home stretch, baby. It's on and popping. Keep running your mouth." On and popping, Miss Fields. Morgan says, "Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you." Merry Christmas to you. I hope your guys' Christmases were well.
It was giving.
And happy, yeah. And happy. Who else do we have here? Austin says, "Hey fam, how is everyone doing?" We got new fonts on this streaming platform thing now, which I'm liking. It's not just the basic font that they had before. So that's why the font looks a little different, if anyone noticed.
Very street, very urban.
Yeah. Multitasking here, also watching the cricket match here in Australia. We are playing against India here in Australia. We have another Australian on here.
Hi.
Welcome.
What's up? As a friend.
We are playing against India and winning. Well, that's good. I've never watched cricket. Emmy, do you watch cricket?
You're not missing out on much.
Oh, okay.
It's long. Like it's hours long and nothing happens.
Oh,
no offense, SA2.
It sounds like our golf then. Everyone just watches.
Yeah.
And then occasionally we get some of these, and then nice. Okay.
It's golf with extra steps.
Yeah. Let's see. It's the end game for the stream itself. Nothing. Only for the initial voting of episodes. Not entirely finished just yet. Let's see. Seasons 12 and 13 of the show provides a lot of nostalgia just for me. Cool. But you guys never thought you'd hear that. There's people watching the show. I always try to say it, like there's actually a group of people where our era Barney was their like nostalgic childhood, which sounds weird, but it's been so long that it's like, well, of course, some of them are adults now.
God bless you all.
Let's see. Edge is not here yet. He's working. He'll be in about an hour into this stream. Morgan asked where's Hedge, so he will be here in a little bit. By the time we start voting for episodes, I think he should be here. Before we start that, as we always do at this time, we're going to talk about stuff. Obviously, as people know, the new plushes have started to make their way into Walmart. They're usually on an end cap, but what I've also been seeing is they're doing box sets of all three of the characters together that you can also buy in certain people's Walmarts. So these are available. There's more products that are going to be released that we've seen pop up online that we'll talk about just a little bit. And Caitlin,
let's show them.
Huh?
Let's show them.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first let's talk about these because we have them right in front of us. Yeah. But these are the first plushes of Barney's World that you can get. To me, they're actually really well made. And Kaylin and I were talking, as far as like these Barney's World plushes goes, Barney looks the best. BJ and
Yeah,
Baby
of the three, this is the most accurate one and the best looking one.
We say what you will about like his new design, but this looks the most like TV accurate out of
Yes.
all three of them. The other two are just ugly. I have them as well, but they're not with me. But they're just ugly. And I was telling Kaylin, I think it's because with this Barney, regardless of the new eyes and all of that, like everything that makes him Barney is there, right? Like his toes are
Yes.
there, his spots are there, right? With BJ and Baby Bop, because they've taken literally everything that made them characters away from them, it makes their plushes very boring. There's no spots on the back. There's no there's
very
nothing. It's
bland.
just a piece of fabric with a face and some hair on it.
Which is weird because they do have spots on the show,
Yeah,
like on their back. Which
Right.
because I'm always like guessing, okay, are they siblings or not? And I think that kind of makes them like yes, they still are. Obviously because they look totally different, but still, that's what makes them similar. I will still stand by that Mattel does just either they just don't like those characters or they don't understand them.
yeah.
And I think they're just here because these are recognizable characters from the TV
It's the
show.
nostalgia. They've been there from the beginning, right? Or as close to the beginning as possible. So it's like
Right. People would have been pissed if we didn't put them in.
yeah.
That's that one thing. Has anybody noticed that in the social media posts, BJ and Baby Bop never appear?
I've never paid attention to it,
Physically.
but you're right.
I don't pay attention to it
They
either.
don't ever show them. It's always just a very terrible
It's always a
version
still.
of Barney.
Yeah. No, I mean like when they're doing skits and stuff, it's always just Barney.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Makes you wonder where those other costumes are.
It's erasure.
Somebody said,
It's little dino erasure.
They're talking about the ones that Instagram, like they post on Instagram and TikTok, like where it's the classic Barney looking at the new Barney plush, or the classic Barney looking at Barney's world, or literally just the classic Barney doing anything. We never see the original BJ and Baby Bop costumes, which is interesting. I don't know if they. I don't know. I can't. To speculate, I wouldn't think they would destroy them, being that they were the last suits. I think they would have them archived just in case, because by the time those suits are made, they're not going to deteriorate like the original ones did, right? And very minor cosmetically, it might change, but it would be a terrible decision to just destroy them for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I would get why. It would be terrible if they did, but I would get why. Like, okay, Barney is the staple piece. Of course, we're going to keep those costumes. But in terms of those two, like sidekicks, I always use that term. It's a bad term because they were characters and they had something to offer in the show. Less marketable. But
and that's the thing, like they weren't really sidekicks,
right?
Or like even I would consider them supporting characters, if anything. Which you have a main character, but the supporting characters are always there. Maybe not every episode, but they were integral to the thing, right? But in this show, they're very much sidekick. When I need you, I'll call you. And then,
I'll call you. Yeah, show up when I want you to.
Yeah, stay in whatever ether you're in.
They have just as much screen time in each episode as they did in the movie.
Yeah.
They were in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And this show, they're in there for like 2.
Yeah, it's so strange. Even in the new book, the I Love You book that they have, it's
They're
the
always
same
in the background.
Thing. They're in the background and they don't show up till like 6 pages in. Right? Like it's just Barney and the kids until like the 6th page, and then you see them just in the background, very small, just doing something. And it's like, what is happening?
They hate them, man.
And it's unfortunate because there's an episode coming out, and I'll just put it out there, who cares? There's an episode that leaked of that's going to be part of the next set of 10, where BJ is there literally the whole episode, which is different from what we've seen so far. So it's like, decide what you want to do with them. Are they there the whole time, or are they not there though? Like what's happening? And if they're in the background for 30 seconds of an episode, just write them out. Like, we don't actually need them if you're not going to do anything.
But also, are they the ones that are like figments of their imagination? Because sometimes they'll just show up and leave, like unexpectedly. Like the nighttime episode when they're all like staring at the stars on the hill. One shot they're there, they look at the sky, and then they're gone. I'm like, it's so frustrating. If you don't like the characters, don't put them in there.
Yeah. Brian says, so glad to catch you guys live. Hello from Scotland. What's up, man?
Hey.
Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it live. Okay, let's share this real fast. So this is a foreign website that was shared with us. I'm not sure where it's originally from, but it has a list of not a list, that makes it seem like there's a lot. There's a couple products on here of Barney's World stuff that I want to show you guys. So first off, we have, and don't even look at the price. They're like, can't even buy it. Even if I tried to buy them, I was like, all right, let me just see what it translates to in US dollars. But if you try to buy it, it says that it's like out of stock. So this is obviously the one that we all know.
Barney Little Dinosaur.
Yeah. That's the one we already obviously know about. But here are some new ones. Let's go here first because we know about these. These are the little figures that's going to be in stores. Some people have already seen them pop up in their Walmarts. So if you have a Walmart near you, I would just consistently check the toy aisle. And I'm assuming, like most toys do, they'll pop up in the aisle at some point. Someone has already bought the Billy and Vivi one. And they have two of them, so they sold one just the other day. But this is the packaging of what they'll look like. So you can get one dinosaur and one of the kids. So there'll be 3 sets in total. So that you have to spend more money to get all of them, of course. I really like, I'm sick of the stock photo look of this, but I do like the boxes that they're coming in.
Yes.
As opposed to the hit era, where they were these stupid, just orange and purple. They had the same. It was the same design on the VHS tapes too.
Same design.
You know what I mean?
It's so bland.
Yeah. So people are saying the prices are kind of expensive. Don't look at those prices. These are not what they're selling for. I'm sure these will be like $10, $9.99 or something. But like this is some foreign site that just has some outlandish price on it. That is not what they're going to actually be.
I feel like they don't know, so that's just like they're
just guessing as a placeholder. But this is one of the
like $223.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll cost $223 in like 20 years when
those are Mexican pesos. So I don't know what that converts into. But I know it's obviously a little bit more than what US dollars are.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so those are we knew about these. If you've been following Barney History Fans, if you follow any of the pages online that are Barney fan pages, this is what they'll look like though, and what you can expect to see when you find them in your store aisle. And they did say that they're going to start putting out products starting at the top of 2025. So you can expect this stuff to start dropping out very soon. The next thing is this. Barney Adventure Bus. I'm going to call out Jen because Jen said that they are liars about this, but it is reminiscent of the Adventure Bus from, the lyric era version of Barney.
Do we want to talk about what it is?
But you can't pretend that like it doesn't give some type of vibe of the Adventure Bus, and that's clearly where they got the inspiration from. But this is another place that eventually you can buy. Go ahead, Caleb.
Do we want to talk about where this specific thing is from?
Yeah, so on YouTube a few months back when everything was leaking, there was a special that was called I Love You, I Love Me Too, something like that. It was a special.
I Love Me Too.
It was a 22-minute full-length episode versus the little 11-minute ones. And
it's their version of a home video.
Exactly. Their version of a home video. And this bus shows up in that video. I'm assuming it'll come out sometime next year. But this showed up there. And with Mattel being a toy company, you can expect that most of the stuff that you see in the show at some point will become a toy. We speculated that in the beginning, and this is a clear example of what we meant by that. I like it, honestly. Lyric Studio. This is Kaylin and I were talking, and these are some things where they fumbled the ball with, where they could have capitalized on making playsets of the Adventure Bus or of Scooter and Miss Etta or like any of those things, and they really didn't do that.
Right.
So I like that Mattel, at least from what it seems, we can get a little bit more out of their stuff. Yeah. I like that this Barney has his heart lit up there.
The glow.
I don't know why it's just
there it is. Now it's gonna light up.
I don't know why it's just there, because I'm pretty sure it's not gonna light up. But like I don't know. Anyway.
I like the images on the top of the bus.
Yeah, it looks like this thing spins too. So like that's clearly the park from the show.
Yeah.
And it looks like it might spin and have other pictures on it too.
Like the park, Barney's tree.
Yeah. I like where it's going as far as merchandise goes. It's been so long since we've seen new Barney stuff readily available on a store shelf. So I'm excited for that. The thing that I'm most excited about is this new plush right here.
Yes.
The Barney sensory plush. This thing is awesome.
Yes.
Like to me, it's super cute. I'm so glad the mouth is closed, so you don't have the buck tooth ruining it all. Like it's really, really cute. Like the only thing that you can be upset about with this specific toy is the eyes.
The eyes.
If you're that person that really
that
complain about something, that's the only thing, because everything else reads a very traditional old school Barney. You know what I mean? Like,
and even the eyes, you can get past that. It's like, okay,
that's what I'm saying. There's certain fans, they just have to complain about something, and that's that's the only thing they could complain about is the eyes in that point, because he doesn't have those stupid fingers, right?
Yeah,
he has.
Which I'm sure it would have been more expensive.
I don't know if he has his toes. I'm going to assume that he does, but you can't see them in any of these pictures. But this is a sensory plush, which Caitlin and I were talking, and this makes a lot of sense. It's weird to me that no other toys or like TV shows have put out a sensory themed toy like this. But with Barney, go ahead.
Yes, because the creators seem to clock that so many of the Barney community is autistic. It's just like if you're going to put out a sensory plush, at least make it a Barney plush, because so many of us are autistic, and whether you're diagnosed in childhood or diagnosed in adulthood, it's just like fuck it, here's a sensory plush.
Yeah, and on top of that, Caitlin and I were talking earlier before we started, but like everyone these days, whether you are autistic or you're not, like everyone. In the very beginning, sensory, when we started figuring out what is a fidget spinner and all those things, they were very specific or intended to be meant for autistic kids or kids who were disabled who needed that thing, right? Exactly. Now, more and more people, whether they're diagnosed autistic or not, they just love to have things to fidget and play around with. So this makes a lot of sense. And a character like Barney, who better, like you just said, Emmy, to make a sensory themed plush of than that character. From what it says here is there's 6 textures. It's a 12-inch doll, so I'm assuming it's probably about this size, not as skinny though, but like about that size. But there's 6 textures. From what it looks like it's the poppet that you have here.
Yep.
I think the 2 feet are 2 different types of texture, or the same texture just on 2 different feet. You have his stomach, which has the rippled effect. You have the curly pattern. And I think the spots on the back might be the 6th texture. They look like there's something different than the rest.
That could be another poppet.
Or it could be. That'd be very strange. Pimpleback Barney.
Ew.
But I really love this toy. And someone said here, if you look...
if you squint.
If you look from far away, you'll probably confuse it for classic Barney.
Yeah, if you squint at it enough, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like we saw that, if you're in the Barney fan club group, we saw that TikTok that Jen shared of some random lady going like, this doesn't look like Barney with the new plush. And it's only because of the teeth and the eyes. But that plush will absolutely, whether you have seen the new show or not, you
recognize it as Barney.
As like classic Barney for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Autism gang, rise up. Morgan says I'm autistic too. It's so awesome, and it's much better handled than how they handled the autistic fans of Thomas, right?
Yeah.
What I understand how they handled them was like really, really shitty. Like it's so great that
What they straight up said, we don't care about them.
they
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Literally,
Fuck off,
like
man,
a
we don't need
CEO or
you.
somebody was like, "Hey, this isn't for you."
Yeah. So those are the only new things that we've seen so far that have not been out yet that we know is coming. I'm really excited about that one specifically. I have kids who love the show, but I also want to collect this stuff, so I have to buy double of everything. So I'm going to be broke. But something like that's a great. If they do nothing else right, that's a great choice to make. That I think is going to sell really, really well.
We got one more thing we got to show.
Oh, I know, but we know that exists and we have it.
Oh yeah.
So, the other thing is a box set. So if you go into Walmart now, they're starting to set out the Valentine's Day stuff. It's in their seasonal aisles, which are usually right in front of the store by the checkouts. They have a bunch of different sets of Bluey. I think Paw Patrol is one of them, and some others. But they also have a Barney set, and I think they're all literally the exact same thing, just with their respective characters. But I forgot mine at home, but Caitlin has one. He hasn't opened yet, but I think he's going to open it here on the stream and show us what comes inside that set for like, what was it, $15?
Plus tax is like $16.51.
Not a bad price for all the stuff that you get.
Not at all.
Brian says Valentine is just, dude. Yes, they started Valentine's Day the day right after Christmas and put everything for Christmas on sale. They have to relax just a little bit, but yeah. Go ahead, Kaylin, take it away.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, hold on. Do you really want the drum roll?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. They changed the whole layout of this stuff, so I gotta find it. Here we go. All right, where's the drum roll? Drum roll, please.
Here we go. This is the official licensed Barney's World gift set. This is zip tied too, so I brought my handy dandy scissors here. We're gonna try to get this out as best as we possibly can. There we go. So this comes with as Kerron, well, I don't think he stated this, but it does come with puzzle stickers, chalk shaped into a heart, a water bottle, and a lunchbox. So we'll pull these out one by one. Oh, dude, you're right. They're all taped together.
I know, with a ridiculous amount of tape. That's the only downside about them is like, I guess, so they don't fall. Yeah. Everything is taped up with so much tape.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the water bottle, the chalk, which, how would you use this?
You just use it like any regular chalk. Yeah. It's just a heart shape.
Yeah, this is very specific. But
I like it though, because you don't usually find chalk in different shapes much.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the puzzle piece, the stickers, which I assume it's like the same Barney like marketing poses. Speaking of that, we have a new one here of him kind of, hugging himself.
And
very cute.
You see they reworked the footprints. Instead of the classic Barney footprints, they created new ones with the yellow toes.
Yeah. Yeah, did you see the hearts too?
I didn't notice they had the texture.
The texture, yeah.
The stickers are of Barney, BJ, and Baby Bop, like holding hands and walking, or those typical ones of Barney. Like, there's like, how many stickers are there? 200 or 500?
58.
Oh, 50. Wait, what? 58 stickers?
Yep, 58 pieces.
Okay, I overshot by a lot, but hey, that's still a lot of stickers.
Dude, Kerron, you were onto something. When we made the website and you were putting all those blues, and I was like, hey, stop that. Little did I know.
Blues, and it worked. They made the right choice.
And it works too. But yeah, it should be in generally every Walmart by now.
Yeah, someone Morgan says I looked down all the toy aisles in my local Walmart store. Still didn't find the Barney's World plush. My Walmart still doesn't have the plush either. I had to order mine online.
Either.
If you order it online, you'll get it in like 2 days.
2 days.
It says longer, but it's literally 2 days.
I literally got it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Mine don't have the plush yet either, but they do have those gift sets. So if you're somebody who wants some Barney's World stuff, I would say go to Walmart and look in the seasonal aisle right now. You probably will find that gift set if you don't find anything else yet. If you don't have a Walmart where you're at, I'm almost sure they can still ship to you if you're not overseas. Because obviously, well, I don't. Does Australia not have any Walmarts at all, Emmy?
No.
Okay.
No, it's an American thing.
Like you would be very expensive to get them to ship unless they end up on like an Amazon. But if you're someone else who has Walmarts, if not one near you, I would say go the shipping route, and do it that way. All in all, for what we have, for what we're starting to see with Barney's World, I'm excited. Not the show I could care less about. Like, it's there, and I hope it's successful for the kids who like it. My kids like it. I've been looking forward to
we can keep getting this.
I've been looking forward to getting the product on the shelves, and so like I'm super excited to see what more comes out. I'm really happy about that sensory plush. I might just buy one. I might buy 3 of them. One for my kids, one for the collection, and one because I'm always in and out of schools, and they love my like the world's smallest Barney that I carry with me. I might just take that to give, like, if there's kids that need to have that, just so they can utilize it while I'm around. It's gonna. I think that toy specifically is going to do great in like child cares or schools where kids can really utilize that kind of thing. Doctors' offices, that kind of stuff.
2 things. At my job, we also use sensory toys. Not just for us because it does get stressful throughout the day, but also for like people who bring their kids. Like I work at a jewelry store, so a lot of like couples or like husband and wives, they'll bring their kids, and their kids never like sit down. So we'll like have like 3D printed octopuses or like the push thing that pop out or whatever. So that would actually like. I'll probably buy it, like you said, like 3.
Yeah.
And like one for a place like that. But yeah, man, I'll always like the second thing, like I'll always stand by for now. People buying stuff like this is what's going to save the franchise. Should we I don't want to talk about it. But there it could be more than likely occurrent that they just abandoned the brand after this relaunch push, and then as understandable as I could see them doing that, it's just really sad. We went 14 years without this. Now we're going to go who knows how many more years, because I believe this character does have staying power. It's evergreen. Everybody in the world, even if you haven't seen an episode of Barney, knows who Barney is. So I think it would just be disheartening for to just push out. Nobody buys it, and oh well, we tried. Wanting to start the things. Like I said, man, I think people are just going out and buying the merch is what's going to save the brand. And like you said, think of what you want about the TV show. I like it, but if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
So.
And that's absolutely right. Say what you want about the new show, but because of that, the residuals of a new show, however you feel about it, we have these opportunities like these new plushes and stuff that's showing up. So you have to be somewhat thankful in that, right? I know there's still some Barney fans. Until they're hanging off of a cliff by one finger, they're going to like try to anything to not like the show. Which is fine. You don't have to. I don't really care if people like it or not. It doesn't bother me at all. But I do like the merchandise that's starting to come out. So I'm excited to see what comes from that next. Let's see here. S82 says Bluey is a thing here down under. We all know about Bluey. Bluey's huge. I don't know how huge Bluey is. I have to be honest. With me doing my own show, I don't watch much new kid stuff because I don't want to be like influenced by any of it. But you see Bluey literally everywhere this year specifically, like on everything, which can only mean a good thing. So,
did we talk about when the next batch of episodes?
I was going to transition into that next.
Okay.
I was going to look at this comment list and see what else we have here. Someone's quoting "That is what it means to be a friend," which is a great song. That's one reason why I like the late park era stuff, because they brought that song back after Camp 101 around. I just wish it was brought back in better content, but you know. Let's see. Is that Chuck E. Cheese? Chuck E. Cheese Showtime. If though it's less likely, but do you think we'll ever see Rip as a character on Barney's World? He was my favorite when I was little. I think so. And I've been saying, and look, I haven't been wrong about Barney's World yet. I'm open to being wrong. But I've been saying from the beginning, if this show is successful, I almost can guarantee next season, if there is one, they'll reintroduce Rip. Much like if you guys have seen the reboot of Rugrats, they rebooted it, made it CGI, and they went back to just the original basic characters, and then they reintroduced like the Baby Dill character and like the Kimmies and those kind of characters. So I feel like they went back to the main three, which banks on nostalgia. But if it is a successful show, I can see them including Riff. And who knows if they include like other characters that then make this show even more of its own original thing versus Barney and Friends. But I don't know. I like Riff, so I don't really care what anybody thinks about it.
I think they set it up because they've introduced some of these background characters into key roles too. Like Mel's dad or Mr. Boyd, even though he doesn't do jack shit but carries damn pretzels. Nona, like David's mom, like they don't play huge roles, but they do take up a majority of, I guess,
they have more purpose.
Yeah,
like they have more purpose than just we're just a parent that's in the park in the background.
Right. Like this is a show where like Barney doesn't feel like a friend to all. It's more or less like we're here in this specific community in this big ass city.
Yeah. Absolutely. It hurts me because talking about Grady or Mr. Boyd, it hurt my heart yesterday because Onyx was watching one of like she was watching the Play Piano With Me episode, like the season 8 episode or whatever, and Mr. Boyd's playing the piano, and she goes, "Who is that?" And I was like, "That's Mr. Boyd." Like, she's seen all the shows. I'm like, "That's Mr. Boyd." And I'm like, "That's Grady." "Oh, it's Grady?" I'm like,
"Oh my God.
There's no way you've connected it because of this new show and not because you've seen this dude in every season of this show before." It hurt me so I just kept going. Like, I didn't even stop and like talk about it. I was like, whatever. Now you know who
I do like of all the like background adult characters, they chose him because he was a favorite.
Well,
but since they don't give him a damn thing to do,
they're clearly inspired by lyric era Barney and Friends.
Yes.
Right. A character like Stella the Storyteller coming back, you would have had to do too much with her. Right. She's such a big character in telling stories. You can't fit that into those 11 minutes. So it makes sense to not bring her back. Whereas Mr. Boyd, he was very much in the background in those shows too. Like sometimes he'd be in the forefront, but he was very much just cleaning the school. Right. So it makes sense. Someone says, "Do you think the pigeon is supposed to be the version of Miss Etta?" And I don't think so.
That's a stretch.
I don't think so, because if you look in Barney's World, if you look on one of the buildings, they had Booker T, right, on the library. So I don't see. I say that to say I don't see why they would have like a character like Booker T, who was less of a prevalent puppet character than Scooter Miss Etta, and then just simplify Miss Etta down to a pigeon in a park. It doesn't really make sense. It would be interesting to see those two characters arrive, though. I don't know if
Did you know but David's mom is a reference to Stella the Tortoise?
That's what Barney Wiki is going to do.
Yeah. Because this character is African American.
Your J24 says, "Is Barney still summoned from a tree?" No.
Yes.
So he's not though, because like we thought that he comes to life from the tree, but he comes to life wherever the kids are. He
Anyway,
pops out of thin air.
Anyway,
The episode when he pops out of his tires.
The tires, and then the time he was like around the shed in the garden, like he just appears.
We haven't seen that one yet.
Imagine him to be.
I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't seen that one yet.
What?
The one you just mentioned.
The one I just mentioned.
Yeah.
This one?
Screw it. When he comes to life from the greenhouse.
Oh, the one I personally mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
At this point,
me and Kerron were.
No, which one was it? No, because Onyx was just watching one on Max before I left the house, where he came from. He appeared from somewhere in the garden that wasn't by the tree. I don't remember which one she was watching. I didn't really pay attention to it. Where did he come from with the ripe tomato?
The tree.
Did he?
Yeah.
You would know. Kaylin is the biggest fan of Barney the World. I have no idea where they all blend together.
So much so that me and Kerron argued over an episode we weren't supposed to see, which I believe is the best, and you'll see why.
I just watch all the Barney's World episodes once, and then I just never watch them again.
And you don't have to. That's the great thing about
it's
it,
like,
right? Like
in one eye and out the other. It's just like, oh, well, that was cute. Anyway.
I do hope that as new episodes come out, they get better. That's what happened with the next set of 5 after the first set. The next set of 5 are much better than the ones before. As with all new shows, sometimes it takes time to build into it, right? I don't know. I've watched them more than once. Not me personally. I've watched them personally once, but because the kids like it, I turn it on for them every now and then. So I see them more often. But
Super Psychic 101, you're right. He's not summoned from that though. Not that one. The red light, green light episode.
Oh.
They call on him, but he like makes that traffic light appear.
Oh yeah. And then he
comes around. Yeah. Like we don't see him until.
Big Purple 88 says there's only room for one Barney World fan here, and it's Kaylin. Kaylin will argue you under what is that? It's blending in. It's a blurry pair of scissors you got. Anyway, while we're on the subject of new episodes coming out, the next set of 5 episodes will be hitting Max on January 13th, which is a Monday, and then that following Monday, January 20th, is the other set of 5. So they're releasing them in 5 episode batches, but only 10 at a time, which is an interesting strategy. But that's what we can expect next. I was trying to find the list of the titles and stuff because they're online somewhere. I just can't find them right now to share with you guys. I'll see if I can find them so we can show you what they're going to be.
There's also presumably a Barney's World Classics Volume 2, whatever they're calling that shit.
I would assume so, only because the first one was the songs from what appeared in those first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
With the exception of like 1 or 2 didn't appear in them.
Yeah.
So I would assume they're going to do another soundtrack of 10 songs again. It would be weird that they wouldn't, but it's only speculation. I'm assuming that they will, though. I don't know where they are. Who really cares? They'll be out next month.
I like how traditionally in any other Barney album, I Love You is the final song because it's what wraps everything up. Whereas in the new album, it's like, nope, we're going to push this until you vomit out those words.
You know what I do when I play it for the kids? I shuffle it and then I put I Love You all the way at the bottom and the theme song at the top. Because it just
That's how it's
feels
supposed
like
to
that's
be.
how it's supposed to be. Like there's no reason why you just have them in random. It's like they just uploaded them and let them land in wherever space they were going to land. Like I hate it so much. At least put some like they put thought. I don't know if they're. I'm sure they're different departments, but they at least put thought in the toys. Like at least put thought into everything else.
They're like, no, get up and move.
Man. Big Purple 88 says it's not you. You're not that guy. The Barney World fan.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm just like looking at this. I'm just like, what? Like, bravo.
This is what so AJ says I don't get why a purple and green tree is even there with a Bigfoot, but also why did stairs appear in a closet and lead them to a ship, right? How did the library transform them to this island at Universal Studios? You see, I'm like, we don't understand it because he's coming to life from it, but it's not out of the ordinary to see some random purple and green tree in Barney. They just didn't do it in Barney and Friends. Like, it's not really that odd when you consider all things else that happened.
That is an odd thing to, like, the bench, okay, sure. The tree is like, what? like if it's gonna appear out of nowhere, then what's the point of, you know what I mean?
Could just be a bench for the kids to sit on.
Yeah.
Like a play area. I don't know.
But since he only has 3 friends, and those seats are specific to them.
I think the tree is Barney, which sounds weird. But if Barney wasn't a character in their world, all trees would look the same. But that specific tree is Barney colored like everything else he owns. I think that tree is him when he's not. You know what I mean?
So when the first episode was described to us all those months back, I thought that. Like I thought he had formed from, like, he was a tree.
Yeah. I don't know.
But like, yeah.
Someone says, how many episodes of Barney's World was ordered overall? I think it was 52.
52.
11 minutes.
It makes you wonder, though, like how often they're going to be releasing these episodes, because they released 10 in October. They're going to be releasing, another 10 in January. Okay.
I think they're going to be every couple months.
That's an odd release schedule. That is a really weird release.
They want to stretch them out.
Well, they want to stretch them out for one. For two, someone said this, I completely agree. SMF said, Mattel's priority is definitely the merch, the show second. They're releasing, to me, it feels like they're releasing them in 10s. Release them in 10s. Now we have a new music album to accompany it. And now we'll push out more merchandise, right? Gain some more attention for the show. Then we'll release some more. So like throughout this next year, they'll release them every few months. But in between that, we're just going to see a wave of more product coming out. This is going to help them to put it all together, I guess. That's how I'm looking at it. It is otherwise a very weird setup. Like even Barney and Friends, when they aired, they would air half the season one year and then air the rest the next year sometimes. So that they would air 10 at a time sometimes. But yeah, that's the only thing I can assume for why Mattel is breaking it out the way that they are. And
also, like, we have shorts that we are broadcasting on Cartoonito. Oh, well, cable is dying, so all right, let's redirect them to YouTube.
Yeah, well, I think too, like to answer your question, Emmy, is they released them in 10, right? And they're only airing them one new episode a week on linear TV. So you release 10 on streaming, and now you have 10 weeks to release a new episode on linear TV. So that also, we're seeing it from the streaming side, but from TV wise, that they're also stretching it that way too. So it's being stretched even further. I don't know. I do agree that it's very weird for why they're doing it that way. All we can do is speculate. But hey, Anyway, is there anything else Barney's World related that we haven't mentioned? I want to show off this that I got from Andrew. It's not Barney's World though.
Did you want to briefly go over the last couple episodes of Generation Barney?
Yeah, I have a gripe to pick with HD Wells of Barney History Fans on Facebook. HD Wells would post. I don't know if he watches this stream, but if you do, I have a bone to pick with you. He would post the podcast episode each week that they aired and would go, "This is what's happening in this episode. You should check it out." There's voices from like fans like Brandon Smith or Andrew Olson. And the week my episode premiered, he stopped promoting it. I wonder what he's going to say about this episode. And he had never posted ever again. I actually don't care. But the last few episodes, it's been a couple weeks since the last one came out. They were really good. I would like to hear what you guys thought about. I was in it. Not that means I liked it. I liked it more or anything. But I kind of knew what we were talking about, or what was going to be expected, like appear in those. I interviewed for 3 hours with them, so I didn't know what they were going to use, but I knew it was going to be centered around whatever the topics were. So it wasn't new to me hearing it, except for the other folks that were on there. But what did you guys think about how that podcast ended up closing?
I personally think that last episode, the one that they ended with, I don't know. I think they didn't really need that last one, because that last one was kind of just like, well, you know, some tenuous links to the outside world, and also hear from, you know, like, you know, random family members of the crew. It's just like, all right.
But also, hey, don't forget, there's a new show coming out. They literally brought on one of the CEOs to talk about it.
Yeah.
And he was literally like, he summarized it basically saying, "I don't give a fuck about your feelings. We're going to release this show."
Yeah.
Like,
talking about it.
Yeah. And they mentioned Barney's World right out the gate with the first episode.
Out the gate.
So you knew that was part of why that podcast even existed, that was even more motivation for them to be like, all right, let's do something with this.
Well, at least it did a better job at what it set out to do than, in my opinion, I Love You, You Hate Me. Because I Love You, You Hate Me, like, there was just a lot of random shit that just had nothing to do with Barney in there. And, like, it just felt so, I don't know, it just felt, watching it, like, the second episode particularly of I Love You, You Hate Me just felt so nasty. Like, and just like, you know, just airing out like dirty laundry that just wasn't meant to be, you know, aired. I agree with this person.
Well, in defense of that, and I'm not defending it just because I worked on that. They were trying to tell the story of what it means to hate something that loves, but also, like you're saying as well. Like, I get your point too. Like, they're trying to like get all these juicy details about a relatively like loving family with this one incident that just kind of clouded everything, and put a stain on like this brand not forever. And I get that, but at the same time, like this one, they make it clear like they're trying to set the narrative of the like television that we loved as children. Barney just so happens to be the centerpiece of that.
Yeah, my viewpoint is the difference between the two is I Love You, You Hate Me wasn't a Barney documentary. It was a documentary on the need to hate something that was positive. Barney being the biggest thing that people hated because he loved things. Mm-hmm. So to tell that story, you had to look at how did this character come to be? Who are the people that made that character happen? And then how do they tie into the hate culture of the 90s? This podcast was very much a Barney podcast. How did Barney shape television for kids as we knew it in the 90s? So that's also the difference. Like, we dislike I Love You, You Hate Me for very good reason for certain parts of it. But it was very much advertised, I think, in a way to make it seem like it was a Barney podcast or Barney documentary, and it wasn't. Barney was just the focal point because that was the best thing to hate in the 90s that helped tell the story of all the drama. And what better drama than, oh, they hated this character, and now here's the creator who created this character whose son has done this thing. So, like, it was very much that kind of a thing. They just advertised it to make it seem like it was something different. So I agree with you, Emmy. This podcast was handled much, much better, but Barney was at the forefront of the entire purpose for this one, which I think goes into why it was so well made for the episodes that they did have.
Real quick. Sorry to interrupt. I hate how close they put the tags on these things. Like I had to like perform surgery.
I cut mine off already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I had to perform surgery to like carefully cut the tag off, or else I was going to cut the arm off.
Big Purple 88 said Barney's Adventure Bus is going to come back as a toy. Only true Barney World fans would know that riff. Well, if you showed up on time, Big Purple 88, you would know that we already talked about it.
Haha.
And showed pictures. We talked about right before you popped in, we talked about all the toys that are leaking out, the sensory one, the adventure bus, and all that stuff. So yeah. Well, let's move on. We are here to talk about season 12 first, is what we're going to talk about. With season 12, I think 11 was the bottom of the barrel for what Barney could possibly hit. The great thing that I do appreciate with season 12 and 13, albeit still very different of a formula, they went back to what made Barney great. They went back to his original 26-minute format. They went back to having the kids as a very prominent point of interest of the shows. The only downside still was the conflict of interest, or not the conflict of interest, was the conflict-driven.
No, you're right. No, that was
valid.
Driven stuff. But all in all, I think, and I watched these episodes. I remember the days that these shows aired and premiered on TV. I remember finding the TV guide and looking at the titles before they aired and what days they were going to air. So I remember this stuff because I was very much a teenager at that point. I remember this stuff very, very well. And going back and watching them, I still enjoy them. I enjoy them a lot, me personally. I think people who don't like Riff as a character, if you watched through these next two seasons, I could be wrong, but I think Riff would change your mind as a character. He still didn't offer something where it made sense that he needed to be there, but unlike how they handled him in season 10 and 11, 12 and 13, he felt like he was a part of the crew, and not just I'm just adding him here. Except for when Adam Brown did his costume work. I don't like Adam Brown as a costume actor for Riff. But I love season 12. I told you guys in the very beginning, Steve White was supposed to join us, and he can't because he's under the weather. But he did watch some season 12 episodes, which was the first time he had ever seen anything past season 10, I think, which was the last full season. And he didn't say much about it, but he did give me some insight of what his initial thoughts were about season 12 of Barney, and I want to share them with you guys. And keep in mind, this is the first time he had ever watched anything Barney related since he left the show, after he did Pistachio and left. He said, I watched a couple of season 12 episodes and found them painful, which isn't to say there were no good moments, but nothing really hung together. They were like caricatures of Barney shows, moving from song to too complicated song with no real relevance to anything. And the ones I saw, I just didn't have much in the way of actual education. Bottom line is, I can't watch more of them, at least not now, and I'd only sound like I'm being an old grump bringing the mood down. So, from what I gathered from that, there were some good moments, he thinks, but all in all, which we all understand, the show is not at all what it was before, and we knew that. He had an understanding of that, but had never seen it before. That was his very initial thoughts of season 12. Let's start with you. What did you think about season 12 watching it? They're clearly very much shorter than they've ever been. There's only 10 episodes. But your thoughts on season 12?
So one thing I kind of really appreciated about season 12 is that with these set of episodes, I had a much harder time picking I had a much harder time picking a worst episode because it really did feel like the crew of of that episode really got their shit together. Although this was common in season 12, but in season 13 as well, there were a few songs that I got really, really tired of. Actually, no, I think I'll leave that one for the season 13 one. But yeah, but on the whole, I actually really liked. I mean, I'm not a fan. I can't remember if it's this season. It's this because I got through these in an afternoon, but it's this season where Lauren Mayer starts playing Baby Bop, isn't it?
No, that's 13.
Oh yeah.
13.
Jennifer.
Jennifer Romano played her, except for one episode.
Jennifer Romano. Okay. I had the impression it went from Jeff Hess straight into Lauren Mayer, but Jennifer Romano does a really good job as Baby Bop because I think she did change body actors this season. The body actors in this were really good. The storyline was all right. It was, and it was actually really hard for me to pick a least favorite because while in my opinion the quality wasn't up there with the earlier seasons, I do think it had improved quite a bit on season 11 to its benefit.
Yeah, you're right. They're not painful to watch.
Yeah,
like
I managed to get through all 10 of them in an afternoon, and season 13, although I'll get into season 13 when we get to season 13, that was a little bit more of a drag. But season 12, I got through all of them in an afternoon, and I'm so proud of myself. But yeah, I actually I didn't hate season 12. I liked it.
Yeah. What about you, Kayla?
Yeah, I'm on the same page with Emmy here. They're not a drag. You can clearly, like you said earlier, the crew went, okay, this just isn't working. Let's just go back to what worked, but try to kind of put a new spin on it. And you can kind of feel that within like the range of the episodes as well. Barney's suit. So this is the first attempt of them trying to make this finally a full like body one-piece suit, right?
They starting with Best of Barney, they introduced this suit, where it's just the connected ankles, but not the front of the foot.
Okay, it looks like he's wearing a pair of jeans. Like it just looks weird. Whereas obviously in the next season it looks way better. Yeah. But sometimes I look at it and feel like, ooh, God, what's going on here? But yeah, other than that, there's not really much to complain about this season.
Yeah, I liked it. The only downside for both seasons I didn't like was the reuse of the same song. Like you already had I Like You in every episode. I understand that for this season it was very much about we're going on an adventure, right? So we have this song about that. But it was the same thing for season 13. We're going on adventures. So now we have a new song about that. And I didn't think they needed that in every single episode. That's the only thing I didn't like about season 12 or 13 by the end was it was just too much. That's like those songs. And then like Emmy says, in certain moments, there was even other songs that they also use too much. And when you only have 10 episodes of a season, you have this whole arsenal of music and you keep using the exact same songs over and over again, that is where it becomes a drag. I personally really liked these episodes. It makes me wonder if season 10 and 11 would have worked better had they not abandoned the full format, and went down to because they didn't change anything else. All they changed from season 10 and 11 was we're going back to the full 30-minute thing, but they kept all the conflict-based stuff and all of that. So I wonder if 10 and 11 would have worked better had they not abandoned that. I don't know. But these two seasons are my favorite of the hit era of Barney stuff. I like them better than season 7 and 8 just because to me, and it's weird because I'm kind of opposite of you guys. To me, Dean's voice was more annoying in the very beginning than what it became. but also by the end, he also just sounded really bored because, you know, he probably was. So I don't know. But I enjoyed them. Let's see what some people in the comments are saying. Someone says my favorite was Lights, Camera, Action, a movie adventure. That was one of my favorites too. Hot take from what I've seen of 12 and 13. I do kind of like the banter between the kids. It's charming. Better than season 9 or 10 when they were basically background NPCs.
Base take.
Yeah.
I don't mind Ben actually. I think Ben's actually kind of a fun character.
No.
Ben
We'll get to him.
sucks, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. Ben, if you want to see good acting by that dude, you watch the movie Celebrating Around the World, and then go back and look at any episode or movie of season 13, and it's night and day. Like, he was an actual good kid actor. And I don't know what happened versus that bye year that he had where he wasn't there and came back, but he was terrible when he came back.
Let me just get this out of the way. There's always one of the bunch that just pisses me the hell off. Like, well, okay, for me, sometimes it was Sean, but that was like his character. Like, he was, I don't know, like he was studious, but like he was sometimes afraid of challenging things.
Mel's the new Ben.
Yo, okay, let me get to that. Big Purple 88. Damn.
You can't go through every season. Just sum it up a little bit.
Okay, what am I saying? Like, okay, then there was Steven, and you know, he would just backtalk a lot of times. It was just like,
Steven was an alright character.
He was. There was times where he was just like backtalk or like, you know, like,
and it's because, but
scream at people sometimes.
In Steven's defense against everyone else, Sean can't have this either. In Steven's defense, he was very much introduced as the new baby of the show, right? Mm-hmm. Starting with Talent's show, he was very much the one, just like David in Barney's world, where Barney kept him under his wing more than anyone else. And he just never grew out of that. Like, they just kept writing to that character, even though he kept getting older. Right. They just kept that with him. So that's his only defense, though.
Yeah. I can't really find any within that in-between rage. But Ben, it was like, especially in this next season, it was like sitcom level of like, Barney's the main character. One of the girls are like the goofy daughter that, you know, that just gets into wild stuff that Barney has to save her from. And Ben was just the annoying kid from next door.
Sure, I'm sure. And then he sells her damn music box. Sells the music box. So now Barney has to take your ass all the way to Switzerland to not even find the box again. And luckily there was somebody else who actually cared about their friends that she brought it back to the park. I hated Ben so much. If you wanted to see a good kid actor, his brother was better than him. His brother who played Rusty in season 13, the blonde-haired kid, they were siblings. He's a better actor than he is. Yeah.
Look nothing alike.
Yeah, they look nothing alike. And like the chemistry isn't there either.
And I think they died. I don't even think I could be wrong. I've never seen that kid since Barney. But the kid who played Rusty, I don't think his hair was actually blonde. I think they dyed it to make them look different.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it does not look like that's his natural hair. It looks like his hair is just like Ben's, but they changed the color. But he's better than the kid who played Ben. But they kept Ben around till the very end. I hate it. Oh God, I hate that kid Ben.
And yes, like Big Purple 88 blurted out, yes, Mel is like the new Ben. Like this overly annoying fucking.
Oh
kid.
Man.
But Ben makes the story interesting.
No, he does not.
No, he doesn't.
How does he make it? First of all, hold on. Let's get through season 12, and then we'll bash Ben some more. But I don't want us to get in season 12. I'm trying to stall so that Hedge jumps in, but I'm just going to move on without him. And let's just put our votes in for what we think the worst episode of season 12 is. Who wants to go first? Okay, I'll go first.
You always do this.
The worst episode of season 10 is very much so The Reluctant Dragon. The season 10 finale was a terrible way to end that season. Part of me with Barney is I never really liked so much the full, like a story taking the full episode approach. I was okay with it with Rift to the Rescue a little bit. But to me, even the story that they were trying to tell with the Reluctant Dragon, it just dragged on way too long. It was just, and it wasn't, also to me, I think, what is his name? I think Gerard Harris is a much better costume performer for Rift, where he really brings the character out. And Adam Brown was the one who started with Rift, but in this season, you can see Gerard Harris take over for much of this season and all of season 13. So when Adam Brown came back for the 10th episode to play Rift, it just felt super. You already had Carrie, who was flat performing, right? And then you have Adam Brown, who's also flat. And it's those two plus BJ. BJ can't keep the entire thing up on his own. And you just have Tracy as like the one kid that's on screen the entire time. So like that was instantly a turnoff for me. So that's why I choose the Reluctant Dragon. I can think of something good that happened in all the other episodes, albeit maybe they weren't good episodes entirely, but I can find something good in all of those. The Reluctant Dragon, the only thing that I have going for it is that they sing Everyone is Special. But at this point, they sing that shit in almost everything. So it's like, whatever. I didn't like that episode at all.
Yeah. I hate how they summon Barney in that one too. The spider's not scared, right, Barney? Cue the coming to life of that.
And let me say this, because I am wrong. Supersonic says it was Jeff Ayres who did Riff, and he's great in Baby Bop. He's terrible as Riff. And you can tell, and that makes a lot more sense because he knew what to do with Baby Bop, right? He had been there so long. He knew what to do with that character. Going into Riff, you can't act the same way. And it's very evident that he didn't know what was going on. Unlike Gerard Harris, once the series ended and Kyle Nelson left, Gerard Harris took over as BJ. And it's very much Riff in BJ's body. Like, he didn't change it at all. It's very much the same. You can tell it was him. So yeah, he just didn't do a good job with Riff in that season. And I'm sorry. I love Jeff Ayres as Baby Bop, but not as Riff.
Yeah.
Finn.
You guys are gonna hate me. The Magic Lamp episode. I am so sick of them going into these multicultural like adventures and not getting people from that race.
Well, they didn't have the money. Well, no. Because they did it with season 13. So I take it back.
Okay, so I argue this. You're in Texas. Texas is a very multicultural state, correct? Like, you have a high population of blacks, whites, Asian Americans, Latino Americans, Hispanics, like the works. Like, you're might likely find someone of a different nationality or a different origin in Texas, like, rather than, well, obviously like California and stuff like that, but any other state, right? Go out and find these people, make them take like maybe 1 or 2 acting classes, and it could be all, happy sunshine and roses after that. Like, why are we getting these same exact cast members who we saw like 5 minutes prior in these like very, I don't know, man. Like, we always talk about how like these will not be made like clearly today. But this is clearly a situation of we just like you said, we don't have the money, and also we can't find the people. But
to your point, I like the Magic Lamp. But remember, I told you guys from the very beginning, a lot of what I enjoyed about Barney was the music. So yes. I love the new Imagination song they used, because we didn't get it on video from Let's Go Tour. I love that song. I've always loved Gaggle Giggle Wheel Dance, Trying Something New. Like, I love those songs. The Having Fun song. But you're absolutely right. And that was the one gripe I had when that show premiered was like, that's literally just David and the other kid, whatever.
The other kids.
Like, why are you? But, and I tried to argue with your point, but then if you think about it, every episode of season 13, they went to a different country and they had actors who was clearly some version of the descent of where they went to represent them. So they could have done it in that one episode when you did it for 10 and one entire movie the very next year.
Right. Oh, let me take that back then. I like the first half of that episode. It just kind of veers off when they go to there. Latveria?
No, they went to
Lebanon.
Which is now being bombarded by Israel, if we want to be political.
Also, what's her name is like really ungrateful. Like she's expecting like this big birthday party with cake and ice cream and soda.
And she's so pointless. Like, why are you here to begin with? You show up for one episode. And they didn't even get creative. I wonder if she was like a favor to somebody because her character name was her real name. Which bothers me so much. Like, you had the one little kid, Chloe, who was only there for one episode, but you at least gave her a character name. Why have this 17-year-old girl show up, use her same name, and she whines about everything? Oh, my culture sucks. I don't want this lip. I don't want this.
I thought we were having hot dogs.
I wanted hot dogs. Who wants hot dogs?
It's so funny. The actress who played Layla, I think I followed her. This would have been like over a year ago. I followed her, and then she followed me, and then she unfollowed me like 5 minutes later.
She said, "No, this isn't what I was expecting."
It's just like I wasn't posting anything bad, but she unfollowed me like 5 minutes later, and I'm like, "What did I do?"
You do kind of get a random sense. Like once he comes to life, it's kind of like, why is he interacting like these random kids, and then the ones that we do know. It's
they very much made the park in that season feel like it was a community park again, but instead of having people just walking by, they were put into the story. Like Claire, what was her name? Claire, the girl from the movie episode. You know, the one that Grace, the one they were helping make. She showed up in a later movie after season 13. But like she was just a random, we're just happy here. Josh showed up in one episode and disappeared until season 13. Like it was very much like they were extras just filling in important roles for some parts and then just leave. It was, I don't know. Someone said, I like the updated Baby Bop Pop. I love the season 12 rendition of the Baby Bop Pop. I mean, I'm black, right? So like I love I love like bass and like that kind of thing, and it had a very much like almost hip hop kind of feel to the Baby Bop Pop, which is a nice change because Joseph got so settled in his way that nothing changed much. So those were subtle changes that I really appreciated. Lukey says, to be fair, they did a good job casting Layla's mom and grandmother, and they did. They did cast them appropriately, which is great.
Yeah, okay, like both of them, you can see, like, okay, they have some sort of like Islamic or like Jerusalem descent in them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like everybody else, when they go to the actual place, it's like.
You're right.
All right.
Someone else said, and they're 100% right, because I thought this song was going to play in that episode when it first premiered, and they missed the opportunity. But they missed the opportunity to not have a family tradition sang in that episode. Instead of that Family and Me song that they introduced in the park era, they definitely should have used Family Tradition. They were talking about traditions the entire episode.
Yes.
And then went back to the very basic me and my family, and which they also overused way too much by the end. So I 100% agree. All right, Emmy, what say you? Hold on 1 second. What is your problem, dude? What are you talking about? All right. He's trying to fill in for Hedge. Hedge hating on Mr. Doctor last episode. This guy's coming with
all the Baby Bop song.
Sorry, Emmy. Go ahead.
It's all right. So mine is the exact same as Kaylin's. So the magic lamp as well. Because I grew up around Lebanese people. Right? I grew up around Lebanese people. So my family background is Spanish and Italian, but in Australia, a lot of the WOG communities just interact with each other. So we were talking a lot with the Lebanese and stuff like that. So a lot of Lebanese people in my life. So when I watched that episode, I have a lot of the same grievances that Kaylin has. It's just like there's like barely any Lebanese people. But also there's a point in the episode where they're at they're doing the feast. And I think it's like the kafta, the meat, the kafta, anyway, they refer to it as hot dogs, and I'm like, they ain't hot dogs. It's just like, where did all that cultural sensitivity that was in the earlier seasons go? It's like it's Pokemon. When the English dub of Pokemon, 4Kids dub of Pokemon, referred to onigiri as donuts. Like, no. No, it's just like, where the hell did that cultural sensitivity go? Like,
it felt very much that they were like, well, Lebanese people look like they're white. Let's just put some white people in there and give them some of these like clothes and just say like, this is what it is. Hang a flag. We'll put some of these grilled cheese sandwiches, that we call them grilled cheese, and just, it's like, you guys are absolutely right. I like the episode only from the music standpoint. I could listen to just the music and not care about ever seeing the episode. So you're not wrong for it being on there. I'm gonna I opened the voting, but I'm closing it for a second because Hedge says he's gonna be on it.
Oh no.
Ed said that he's going to be on in like 2 minutes. So if he's jumping in, then we'll have him throw his on there real quick. But what were you saying, Kaylin?
I was going to choose the Magic Sword, but I have a very like soft sentimental spot for the Today We Can Say song, which they did not use at all after. Like, I don't get it.
This is why I also love the last 2 seasons. The only good thing, and I said this on the last episode, I think too, the only good thing about them Hollywood writers coming in to write for Barney is they weren't comfortable in the music and how it had changed, right? So there was a lot of songs that got pulled back from the classic era into these because they were going through trying to figure out what songs can I use versus people like, I love Steve White, but Steve White had been there forever evolving. So at a certain point, by the time each era came, you were just using songs of that era, and you hardly ever pulled back songs from years past. That's what I loved about them in season 11. It was a terrible episode or season, but that's why I loved about them bringing in Bedtime with Barney. This season, I love them bringing back Today We Can Say. And next season, like, they brought back the Autumn song. They brought back the Raindrop song. That's what I did appreciate, because we got a chance to hear those songs that they had completely abandoned. Today We Can Say is a great song.
Yanon Kreitz, Josh Silverman, whoever is running Mattel Television, I will give you permission to do that song again. Only if it's in the traditional way.
Today we can say we learned a word that's new. Today we can say.
Ew, why do you have it scrunched up like that?
Why are you doing this to his mouth? Put your hand under his mouth.
We're traveling. It's a great big world to see.
Looks like Barney's eating Hedge's finger. Like,
all right.
Tastes like pretzels.
Since you're late, you got to give us your season 12 episode.
I actually don't have one.
You have to have one.
I had such a good time with these 2 seasons.
Pick the magic lamp.
The magic lamp.
Validate us.
No. You have to choose one.
I honestly might just say the magic lamp because I don't have a bad one. I don't. I really don't.
Well, so Hedge and Emmy's were the magic lamp. Mine was the reluctant dragon. So you don't have one? You have to choose one. You didn't have one for season 3 or season 2, but you had to choose one, so you can choose one from here.
Magic lamp.
No, that's
choose it anyway.
I'm gonna have to watch this stream back. I want to see what's actually been said.
All right. Well, okay. Magic lamp it is. All right, we opened up the voting, so you guys can, if you're on YouTube, where you should be, and it's at the very top.
Base hedge.
We're going to give you 10 minutes to vote, and then we're going to go into talking about season 13 and talking about what episodes we dislike from that. So go ahead and start voting now, folks.
Wait, you guys spent an hour and a half only talking about season 12?
No, we talked about Barney's World and the new plushes and stuff that we're starting to see show up. The sensory plush, the Adventure Bus playset, and things like that. We talked about that gift set that Caitlin has.
Why is it censored for a second?
Oh, I never showed this. I'll show this. I got this from Andrew. This is one of my favorite pieces now.
It's like the actual studio plush. Oh.
Yeah. He 3D printed this. It says Barney, a friend to you and me. Wow. But yeah, it's of the season 4 plush.
That's crazy.
I really love this. I actually brought him in from the car so I could show you guys, but I leave him on my dashboard. Like I just set him on the dashboard.
That's of the car. Dope. That's dope.
And he doesn't even move. Like I love it so much. When I first got it, I showed my grandma, and she was so amazed by it that she popped the arm off on accident. And I was like, no. So I think Andrew did it with like hot glue. So I super glued them back on so they shouldn't move. But he added some type of texture to it, so it feels like you can kind of see the texture too.
I was about to say,
like, it's really cool. I love this thing. So I wanted to brag about
it's like a modernized version of the Dakin snow globe.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
just a larger one. Yeah, I also found this today.
You're gonna be real mad if you have to take a real quick stop on the road.
My dashboard. So the kind of car I have, like the dashboard is so big, but like it's super flat. Nothing slides on it. Like it's so strange. I like it though. I found this. I didn't know they made a Baby Bop figure like this small, but I found this today at a store, which I was excited about.
That's like a thrift shop.
Yeah, we have a store called the Imaginarium in Omaha, and they have tons of like antique things, like old games, like Atari's, Nintendo 64 game systems, like Sesame Street collections, literally anything you can think of. And every now and then they'll have a few Barney things, so I go by there every now and then to take a look. And they had that today, and they also had this Get Dressed with Barney. It initially came with a video. I don't know what video because it wasn't in there, but you can like unzip his jacket and button his buttons and all that different stuff. But I bought him because he was still inside the box.
Does it talk?
It doesn't. No, it's just a plush.
Okay, I was about to say because that specific plush looks like it's been repackaged because we used to have a plush that had that exact same face and everything, and I can't stand it. But it looks like they.
Yeah, I hate that they have that. They started to get that face. I don't have any in here with me. Well, this one does, but he kind of has that face.
Yeah, a little bit.
But this is the one where the stomach lights up and does all that singing. Did I show you this?
I don't think so.
Hello, friend. A friend is someone who likes to sing with you. Hold my hands and we'll sing a song together. All the raindrops were lemon
That's cool.
Yeah. Only downside
I've
is
got to be David. You're always there for the people you love. Glow.
He doesn't stop singing though, so we have to wait. I believe that's Tim Bevan, not Bob West.
Yeah. Hedge, you have to get the sensory Barney.
Have you seen that, Hedge?
I saw photos. I didn't get to like look at it, but it looks like the studio plush and a little like the pose that it's in. That might be the only reason I get it. I don't know. Like what does it do specifically?
So it's just a sensory plush. So it has 6 different textures built into it. So there's
Jesus. He's having a Fast and Furious race outside.
That's what the sensory plush does. It's real loud.
Family.
It has 6 different textures on it, and it comes with like that poppet. So I think it's just it'll be a really cool toy for kids or people who just need something to like fidget with. Mm-hmm. It looks really cool. Have you seen? You saw pictures of it, haven't you?
I saw the photos.
So yeah. Okay, guys, I'll give you one more minute, and then I'm not going to reveal what the episodes are though until the end. But it's a clear winner between the two already.
I do want to say, I think it was the Grease episode. I rewatched that again while I was at work because there's a scene in it that's really funny to me. It's I forget the kid's name. The boy.
Ben.
What is his name?
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah, we're going to bash him in a second. You just hang on to it. We had to come back to it because we were getting too far away from season 12, but we're going to talk about season 13 next. But yeah, he definitely has some more bashing to come his way.
It's the scene in the Grease episode where he's like, "Oh, I can't do anything," and then Barney takes him into the caboose, and it's only them in the caboose. And Barney's like, "Let me read you a story."
You're all backward. You're talking about season 12. You're talking about Daniel and the sword in the sandbox.
Yes. Yeah. Oh wow.
It's easy to mix them up.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It's easy to mix
They're
them
all
up.
just white kids. It's easy to mix them up. They all look the same.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
god.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I was saying I gave that one a pass because they brought back the song from Let's Play School.
Today we can say.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love that song.
Ed doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like, whatever.
I remember that video. No, you don't.
Like, all right, can I go back to what I was saying?
No, Barney's like, and then the chef cooks lots of food, and he's like, "Barney, what's a chef?" And then they do this close-up shot of Barney's face, and Carrie, of course, only moving the mouth. And he looks so dead. He's like,
dude. And what's even funnier about it is he goes, "What's a chef?" And he goes, "It's a person who cooks food." And he goes, "Okay," and then he goes, blah 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 blah.
he says
So
something like,
irritated that he interrupted
"That's
him.
awesome."
That's really great. That's what he said. That's really great.
That's really
Daniel.
great, Daniel.
Anyway.
Now, anyway.
I was like, why did they keep that in? It's
Oh,
so weird.
You gotta play that.
Oh,
I know. Oh my god, you gotta play that.
He's a man that cooks food for people.
That was so funny.
I'm gonna stop this. Let's look at some comments real fast before we go into season 13.
That's very good, Daniel. Now stop fucking interrupting me. What?
That's so cool.
Let's see here.
Anyway.
April says, "I despise power outages, Kerron. My power didn't go out. The lights just turned off. If my power went out, you guys would be watching nothing right now." Hot take. I feel that the show itself would have had a proper series finale. Season 14 was a disappointing season. It wasn't even a season. I don't care what new song you put on the front of it. It wasn't a season. While we're talking about Park era songs, What Shall We Make Today is just bootleg the Barney bag. It's such a lazy version of Let's Be Creative. Like, you could have just brought the Barney bag back. I'm sure you had it. Like,
They let the trademark expire.
dude, let's see. What else? Oof, I disagree with these options given. I would have gone with either the Captain Pickles episode or Rip to the Rescue. Okay, well, why? Why do you say this, Purple Voice 15? I would like to
I'm
know.
watching the episode. He definitely just
He looks
ignored
very pissed off that he interrupted the story. And Stella the storyteller would never do that.
It was such a stupid question. Like, if it was a question that actually made sense. What's a chef? He
What's
cooks
a
food for
chef?
people. My mom cooks food for me. That's
That's really great.
awesome.
Person
so
who cooks
nice.
food.
We, the audience, don't care.
Oh,
And
oh,
me.
when Barney says "focus" in that Learn English app,
Yes.
he sounds like a stern teacher.
Well, it's only because he didn't do it. He hasn't done the voice in so long.
I know, right?
So I guess he was like, well.
All right.
That's very nice, Dan.
That's really nice, Daniel.
That's very nice, David. No, shut up.
All right, let's talk about season 13. I loved season 13 mainly because the difference of having just a backdrop painted changed so much when you introduced the idea of we're going into the book, and it was still away from that original set, which was a breath of fresh air. The very first episode and the last episode were the best. Obviously, they had the bigger budgets for the home video. So, like, the jungle set is my favorite because you got, like, it was so, like, expansive in comparison to what we had seen in so many years. But I think, in comparison, like we said with everything else, what we've seen with season 11 and 10, it was an all right season of stuff. What do you guys think about season 13? Any thoughts?
The Hawaii episode will forever be my favorite.
It's a great episode.
It's a great episode. I know you guys always say like Barney and Christmas always go hand in hand. I think Barney at the beach will always, like, that will never get old to me. Which is why Beach Party is one of my favorite videos of all time. But that one, I know we're not talking about the best one. I'm just saying, like, you know, my favorite of the bunch would be that one, and there will be no slander for the Hawaii episode. And if there is, I will night fight you.
The only slander you can have for that episode is Ben's in it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
He leads them on this adventure the entire episode, knowing he knows nothing about what she's talking about. And Barney and everyone else just blindly follows his ass around Hawaii. The entire episode. Are you sure? Sure, I'm sure.
Causing such an issue, such a conflict every time he's on screen.
All you had to do was say, I'm not sure what this is. Barney could have shown you on the computer, gone to Hawaii and got it and came back.
I love the natives in that episode when they're like, "A flower." He's like, "Yes, many," and it was like, "Oh, well,
peacock?
July feels stupid."
I love the
Thanks a lot, dude.
Also, they looked Hawaiian, or I'm sorry, Samoan.
Yeah, because they were.
Anyway,
I love the unintentional message that if you're wearing a skirt for a cultural reason, it's fine as a man. But if you're wearing it just to wear a skirt, you look ridiculous. That's what I got from that.
Exactly.
Because they laughed at Barney when he was wearing one.
But what's even funnier is they did the same thing in Beach Party with BJ. He was like, I'm not wearing that.
And he wears it.
It's a grass skirt. Like, everybody wears it.
He wants to impress the island girls. Some weird bestiality going on. They also shame him for wearing that tutu in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they went to Hawaii,
Barney in a dress.
When they went to Hawaii, he was like, "Barney, are you gonna wear that skirt?" And Barney was like, "Of course." And they were like, I forget what they said, but they kind of passed it off where he's like, "It's a chief thing." It's like, why can't you just wear the skirt?
Got it. All right, thanks. Dude, I love the costumes in this season. The one thing that I love about, like, the Barney suit that they never got right until the end was they did what the original suits did, and they made his teeth smaller. Like, that was one of the biggest gripes that we, like, talked about with all this, like, hit era suits, was the teeth were so huge, like, in his mouth. And by season 13, like, the bottom row was much smaller than they had been, which I think helped the look of that costume, along with the connected ankles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I love Baby Bop's new look. It's very minimal.
Hey, you do?
Yeah, it's very minimal, but it was time for, like, a change. And I think they had to make
her forehead is as big as mine.
I think they had to make it fit. Her forehead's always been big.
But no, like,
and it was more sure in the old suits
big
because
giant.
Wider.
I can't. I
No,
can't
dude,
get behind that.
It looks like she has bags under her eyes. Like,
yeah, it looks like she doesn't get sleep.
She had those in season 2.
That
Season 2, she looked like she never got sleep as a 2-year-old.
Can I tell you something? Before I joined the stream, I was going in my head over what I wanted to talk about first. I was assuming you guys are already going to be on season 13. I no joke. My first question I was going to ask is, do you guys have any information on why Baby Bop looks so strange in this season? That's exactly what I was about to ask. I was like, I remember when she showed up, I was like, what happened to Baby Bop? I don't know.
Must be a Lauren Mayer thing. I don't know.
Like, I could tell. Is it a different body actor inside of Baby Bop?
Different body
Okay.
actor and different
Lauren
suits.
Mayer.
It was already that, so like that didn't bother me at all. But like it was the face. Something was
You're
wrong with
telling
the
me-
head.
You're telling me this looks terrible and these
Yes.
don't?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
these don't.
She looks normal there.
Need y'all be reminded about this.
I'd rather have season 2 Baby Bop over 13.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. You're
Season 2
ridiculous.
didn't have the bags. She had wide eyes, but she didn't have the bags.
Right.
She doesn't have bags here.
Season 13 Baby Bop is horrible. I think we all
Horrible.
Let's take a vote. Instead of
I think they had to build a new suit because Lauren Mayo is very clearly so much smaller than any body actor that played Baby Bop before.
What's her last name?
Is it Mayo or Mayu?
I think it's Mayo.
The X is silent?
M-A-Y-E-A-U-X.
there's an X.
Yeah, on the end. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Mayu or Mayu. Anyway, but she was clearly shorter than Jeff Ayres and Jennifer, like any of the other ones who played them. So I think they had to make a new suit regardless for her. So I think that's also why Baby Bop looks much different too, because her look never changed much from like season 4 until they changed that body actor. So I think that also has something to do with it. I like that she was shorter though, because like next to Barney, she really did look like a baby dinosaur. Like she only came like Barney's arm, like to that suit.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I like. Emmy, you had a gripe with her. What was your problem with her as a body actor?
What was your beef with her?
I don't know. I don't necessarily have a problem with Lauren Mayer as a body actor. Did I say that at the beginning of the stream? I think it was more so the costume she was in.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I did. I think it was more just the costume that they made for her. I don't necessarily think I had a gripe with her as an actor,
Gotcha.
as a body actor. I think it was just more so the costume looked weird. I don't know.
Cool. I do have a gripe to pick with Barney Wiki, and if any of you are on here, make me an admin, because I hate that you guys say that this was the last Baby Bop change before this one, as if there was no differences with season 9, 10, 11, or 12. You're absolutely wrong. Just like you were wrong with BJ. And now since we're here, I might as well do it. This was not the final BJ look.
No.
Yeah.
So
No,
doing that. This is not the same look for 10 years.
What do you call
That's
this?
not true.
What
Change
do you
it.
call this?
His crest.
His crest. Yeah, they like kind of folded it back.
His
a
whole
little.
face was different in season 13. They did like push it back.
Put in a ponytail.
Strawberry mint hair gel.
I don't want to hear BJ say that.
Anyway,
I do want to say I think the body performance for almost all of the dinos was the worst here in this season.
It was horrible.
Everyone but Riff, I think.
Told you. Gerard Harris. I said that earlier. Like but he was also the only new one to join the crew. Where like clearly the rest of them. Well, and Lauren, I think her excuse was the same one I tried to give to Carrie. Was she played Baby Bop on tour a lot? She also did it in Birthday Bash after Barney ended, and they brought her in for season 13. So I'm sure she had no experience with TV, and they clearly by that point didn't care to even bring her up to speed. They just threw her in the suit.
Right.
And so you can clearly see that in certain parts of this season too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So there's definitely that. And Carrie, poor Carrie, I get it, because he's been doing this for, at this point, 10 years on the show, just on the show, and it almost felt like he knew from the jump that this would have been the last one in some form, because there's so many scenes where he's just on screen and the only thing moving is the mouth, no arms, no turn, nothing, and it's almost distracting to a point. Okay, I when I got to that part, I was like, oh, I get it. And it's such a shame too, because this is such a good season. I remember watching it and being like, I haven't had this much fun with Barney since Lyric, or even season 7. Everything just felt like they had something going. And while you can argue, or I can argue, that like the fact that they dedicated an entire season to just doing this thing of traveling meant that there might have been a drought in ideas, understandably so. The fact that they put so much into this season compared to the past ones was such a good thing, especially having this being the last quote unquote season to come out. I think they ended on a good note here at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The guy who played Pierre in the French episode was hot, so that was nice.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
I hate how stereotypical that name was, though. Oh well,
he's French, so he has.
And he paints. He must be Pierre. Oh man.
The thing, it's not my pick for the worst episode, but that episode really threw me off because he paints a cookie. And I'm just thinking, oh no, please don't do the song. Please don't do the song. Looky, oh, I hate that song so much. I'm going to go off cookies because of that song, because of how much I heard it in the later years of Barney. It's just like, another song, please.
Did everyone think it was amazing that Riff did a cartwheel and split? Dude, Gerard Harris went all out with that character. Like, I love how he portrayed Riff. Let's see. The sets in season 13 are so refreshing after years and years of Rice Egypt on sticky note. Yeah.
We're totally in Egypt, guys.
We're in Egypt.
All right, let's vote then. Who wants to go first? What's your least favorite episode of season 13? Hedge, you go first. You came in late. You go first.
Yeah. It almost feels unfair. I don't dislike any episode of this season. Yeah, literally. That's crazy. It doesn't feel right to say that about entertainment. Goodness me, I don't know. China. I'm literally just throwing. I don't know. China, and that's a good episode too.
It's a really good episode. How'd you feel about that song, Brothers and Sisters Are Great?
I think it was fine.
Okay.
No, I have more good to say about this season than anything. Yeah. Like, a lot of scenes were just funny. I like when they went to Italy. And they were like, "Look, it's a gondola. You guys want to go on the gondola?" And they row your boat, and then they come back in from the same. Like they came back to the exact same location. They just went in a circle. Well, we're here now. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Kenya. Let's just say Kenya. I don't know.
No, you can't say Kenya.
Why
if you're just gonna throw one, at least throw one that is not. Kenya was a great episode.
They're all good episodes.
Except for the Easter Bunny showing up at the end. It was a good episode.
Was that?
I don't understand what their thing was with that bunny and the egg, but they should have left it alone.
See, I thought
the good egg Kenya,
they were
you say.
referencing Great Adventure. Did you know? In the season 13 was so cute.
The good egg Kenya. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Great.
Just I hate the beginning of China. Not historically, I'm talking about the episode.
Can we talk about
this is big with these episode titles? Like you can't.
Well, that's not the title of the
Big
episode.
Brother Rusty. Yeah.
Yes.
The way China.
I like how you tried to cop out and blame them. I hate that. But they're named these things. You skip 3 words before you.
Because the beginning is so lazy. Like that these poor kids. Like when he lazily goes, something purple. Do you know, Barney?
What's purple around here? Goddamn Eli. He was also one of the worst kids. I'm glad they only used him once.
He was just lazy.
He was just
There's a lot
bored, yeah.
There's a lot of episodes where they need to introduce Barney and they'll do something like, Barney, have you seen this thing? It'll come to life and he won't answer the question. Like they go over the question again. He's like, what are you guys doing? So we just asked you, have you seen this thing?
It's literally why you're here right now.
They do that a lot. Mine is Switzerland. Should we begin the bin bashing?
Yeah, but that's the reason why that's your the worst episode.
I just didn't
opposed
enjoy
to
it.
Ahora Mismo.
Okay, it was a toss up between those two because he just
one.
complains.
It's that one. Switzerland had better songs. They brought Growing back. You can't go wrong with Coca-Cola. They did a terrible rendition of Dino Dance in Ahora Mismo. So,
and the horse did the Dino Dance.
Dancing for the terrible rendition of "Look at Me, I'm Dancing." I'm sorry. I'm not trying to influence your choices. Go ahead.
The horse attempting to do the Dino Dance. This is trotting up and down.
It's like a preschool version of Yellowstone.
I bet that horse was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
No, that rendition of Dino Dance was all right. But Joseph got really lazy with "Look at Me, I'm Dancing" as a rendition of song. By that point, it was very terrible. But what's your actual choice? Go ahead.
Now you got me in a pickle.
Pickles?
Dude, that's a lot of pickles.
Fuck. All right, you want me? It's Spain.
Ahora Mismo? That's the one you want me to put down?
Yeah.
Ahora Mismo?
Yes.
Because Ahora Mismo means right now.
What did you say?
Ahora Mismo means right now in Spanish.
I bet it does. But my episode choice is Spain.
That's so nice, Kerron.
Okay. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next? Emmy, you want to go next? Who's next?
I actually had a really tough time choosing an episode from all of these. Although this is for a really, really dumb reason. Actually, no, it's not a dumb reason. So I'm going to go with Switzerland. Purely because, from memory, because I watched these a few days ago, they don't get to Switzerland. The other episodes, they get to their destinations relatively early, but for this one, I don't think they get to Switzerland until halfway through, and and also when they get there, it looks really at least with the other episodes, they have certain set decorations and props to suggest that they're in this country, that country, whatever. Switzerland, it's literally just one backdrop, the studio floor. And
they put him back in that Christmas star outfit.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And then they get out those people with the horns, with the big long horns, right? And then they're having a discussion about
an Althorn, Emmy.
Yeah, those. Yeah, those. But anyway, Barney is saying, oh, they can play any sound, happy sounds, sad sounds, and then they go silly sounds, and then it goes into the silly sound song, and I'm just like, is he shading the cultural instruments of Switzerland? All
right, I'm arguing with you. I'm arguing with you on this one. First, I'm gonna pick apart everything that you said. So, firstly, the set is the exact same as all the rest of them. It's not more bare than any of the other ones are, except for unless you're looking at the first or last episode. But the rest of them, they're all just a backdrop, and then they have set pieces. So with Switzerland, it was a backdrop with the house and then all the trees around with the mountain in the back, which is no different from the Hawaiian one where it's just like they look like they're on a beach with the backdrop with some cutout of trees, or like the Greece one where they're just in the whatever amphitheater with just some plants around. So it was as basic as all the rest of them. But they did take a while to get there, but it was also because Ben had to do some stupid shit to get them there. Like they weren't going to. In this instance, they weren't supposed to be going to Switzerland. He gave away the music box. So halfway through, when he finally tells the truth, then they go there. But then also for like silly sounds, they started singing that because the dude blew the horn and made that random noise, which Barney said was a silly sound, which started the silly sound song. See how basic that background is? It's just like the Switzerland one. And the Switzerland one had much better song choices. You had Growing, you had Coca-Cola, you had Silly Sounds, you had Pennies in My Pocket, Nickels and Dimes. Those are bars right there. And then there's Baby Pop.
I don't know. But all the other sets looked really full. I don't know. It was hard choosing. It was surprisingly hard. But the thing is, with all the episodes, one thing that I kept getting distracted by, particularly with the backdrops, was that split, like those splits where they join the parts of the set together, of the backdrop together. That was so distracting.
Well,
and like I know
they're in a book.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fair enough.
So
yeah,
the
it is
book
Barney's
is
travel
open.
book. It is Barney's travel book. Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to stick with Switzerland.
Okay, good choice. My choice is very much so Bonjour Barney.
What?
Because
Barney?
by the time.
What did you say?
Hold on. See, Emmy? That was the set. And they had a bunch of trees all around too. That's not empty. Mine is Bonjour Barney.
Okay, you said it earlier.
Because by the France one. I love Emma as a character. I love the song Why Can't I? But my problem with it is by the time that episode comes, and it makes me feel bad because Fred Holmes wrote it. But the reason why I'm choosing it is it was just lazy. Half the songs were nothing but music videos. We had already heard Looky Looky It's a Cookie too many times before getting to that episode. We heard Games too many times before getting to that episode. And 4 out of the 8 songs they had in that episode were all music videos of stock videos that they had used from other episodes already, which is just lazy to me. And so for that reason, it's easily the worst episode. But you all are right too. Like, it's hard to choose an episode. None of them are technically bad, which feels good to say that. I told you guys this in the very beginning of this stream, like months ago, and you all smirked because you hadn't seen it. But it really isn't a bad season. So they're very petty reasons of why we're choosing what we're choosing. But that would be mine because they just overused those same tired music videos way too much in that episode in comparison to the other ones.
Because we know this was the final season, it does leave a sour taste in our mouth, which you could presume like, oh, since this was the last, this should be the worst. It's not really the case here.
Yeah. Which is amazing to think because you would think that it would be because it's still all the same people who ruined it. But it's not. Hedge. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to open up the voting again. It's the same link, everybody, at the top of the YouTube. Just click the link, and now you can vote for season 13. But Hedge, I was telling them before you had came in, Steve White was supposed to be our guest, and now this week he was under the weather. But he told me what his initial thoughts were about watching season 12, and I want to read them so you know what he said. Because remember, he hadn't seen anything with Barney since he left the series, so he didn't know what it was about or looked like or anything. He says, and I'm quoting, "I watched a couple of season 12 episodes and found them painful, which isn't to say there were no good moments, but nothing really hung together. They were like caricatures of Barney shows, moving from song to too complicated song with no real relevance to anything. And the ones I saw just didn't have much in the way of actual education. Bottom line is, I can't watch any more of them, and I'd only sound like an old grump bringing the mood down."
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But that was his opinion on the few episodes he did see of season 12.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how Disney is silencing people on Twitter.
No, let's not. We're still
because they lost
no one cares.
Christmas box office.
I will say, I watched season 13 before I saw season 12. I don't know why. I just decided to go backwards like that. And it really threw me back when Barney said something like, "Do you wish you could swim in the sea?" And then they just played a clip from like the lyric era and dubbed over it. I had to like go back. I was like, "There's no way they just did that." And I saw like the kids. And I was like,
and did that Dean dub over it?
Dean dub.
They did the same thing in A
Very
Very
Merry
Merry Christmas, the very last Barney video they released.
Yeah, the Christmas one.
The night before Christmas thing and dubbed over it too.
oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
How dare they? Shame on them.
Which is weird because when they did Best of Barney, they used clips. I think there was a particular point where they used a season 2 clip and they used Bob, like it was the original audio. You could hear Bob in the clip with Dean narrating before the clip, which was really weird. But yeah, very strange.
Let's look at the comments here. Someone says, Big Purple 88 says, so in terms of new content for season 14, what's your best and worst? All of them. There was no new content. There were some terrible jokes and music videos. I really like the new rendition for I Hear Music Everywhere, though. That was a good, and because Joe Phillips didn't really change that song ever. So I like that rendition, but
I find the monkey song offensive.
Moving on. Let's see what else we got. Say Kerron, Hedge, Riff, and Emmy.
Stop calling me that.
Your favorite version of the BJ song. It's clearly the Bob Singleton version. There is no other version. I hate when they redub footage. Like, let me hear Bob's beautiful, luscious voice. Damn it! No, they needed to do that, or else they had to pay Bob.
And Anthony, you're based. You're based. I like you.
We've already like drooled over Bob West enough. We understand he was the best, but also his time was over, and it's his fault. I don't have no sympathy for Bob West when he's the one who left. You chose to leave.
Yeah, if he got fired, then this would be a completely different.
Yeah, but y'all left. You're the reason we had Kerry and Dean. I don't want to hear anything. Had y'all stuck around instead of trying to look for something else, y'all would have still been there. That's your fault.
It's such a tricky thing when it comes to voice acting too, because the only reason it's weird when they redub over that is because Dean's voice is so drastically different.
So great.
Well, they're also trying to imply that this has been Barney's voice this entire time.
The whole time.
No, it hasn't.
Well,
you're lying.
And it's stupid too because no kid would care.
Rewrite history.
No.
Like no kid would even care that they. I don't even think they really notice that they sound different as young kids. Like it's Barney. Who cares?
And that's the thing, because it creates a problem that should not have been there in the first place, because it makes it to where they can't use old footage in their newer stuff, even if they wanted to, unless they revamp all of the audio. So they have to go back and do all of that now. And it's like, well, okay, so if we redub Barney, do we have to redub the kids too? Like, what do we do?
Also, like in the Best of Barney video, when
they use that same video
from Once Upon a Time, they didn't dub over that.
They didn't, but he also
when Barney's watching his home movies, like they didn't dub over anything else.
But he also didn't. If you notice, he also didn't really say much. And like even that clip with Once Upon a Time, Barney in that clip didn't really talk. He talked when the whole group talked, but other than that, he didn't have Bob didn't have a standalone line. It was just his chuckles in the background. It was all Stella talking. I noticed that too, but then when I paid more attention to it, it was like he didn't actually say anything. Omina Cav says it wasn't Bob's fault on his decision to leave the IP. He just wanted new challenges in his life. Great, so it was his choice. What are we talking about? They didn't fire him. They didn't say, "Look, if you want new choices, you can't work here anymore." Bob said, "I'm leaving," and he left. As much as we love Bob, we never hesitate to call a spade when Kerry is terrible as a body actor or when Dean is bored. Bob and David left. So David could whine only once about Kerry not listening to him, but you left the role. Bob, we can say was great, but he also left. He's the reason we have what we had. No one else fired him.
Dean was Dean. That's why we have Jonathan.
They both carry and
Thank you, Caitlin.
Kerry and David on the show specifically essentially both did 10 years, right? Is that true? Because David was on the show. David was 91 to 2000 or whatever.
Who are you saying? Who'd you say?
The body actors.
Kerry and David.
So like on the show specifically, not like outside stuff.
Oh, like, on the TV show itself.
Right, like Kerry was 2001 to 2010.
2001 to 2011.
11, and then David was 1991, or sorry, whatever.
1991 to 2000.
So like essentially the same time span, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for TV.
No, to like 1991 to 04. So they kicked him to the curb.
You sounded like
because he had a second job. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, my first introduction of Bob's Barney was Night Before Christmas, and I didn't care that it was different from Dean's voice. Yeah, I think the only people that care are people who left the show and came back. Like for me, I never grew out of Barney, so when it switched to Dean, I didn't notice it was a drastic change, like you would if you didn't watch it for a few years and then came back. And I think it would be the same if you're watching the Park era stuff and then you go watch an old Barney movie. It doesn't sound too much different, but you bring this idiot into it, and it absolutely sounds terrible. It doesn't matter when you listen to it. It just sounds.
You bring this idiot terrible. Into it, close up of Kaylin's face. All right, I'm going to. What about me?
2 more minutes, and I'm going to close the voting. This one also is a very clear winner too.
This idiot is crazy.
I'm sorry, dude, but he's terrible.
Put this on the Barney Wiki trivia. Did you know if you turn the Barney's World plush to the side and close his mouth, it's actually a reference to the Barney and Friends silhouette from the logo in the early seasons? What a neat reference that is.
They do reference.
We should just do a live stream of going through Barney Wiki.
Yes,
that'll be entertainment on its own.
That'd be so fun.
They do reference the silhouette in the stickers. Have you seen any of this?
I haven't seen much from the gift set. I've seen like what it looks like, but I haven't seen what's inside.
Okay.
Of it.
I'll send you pictures.
Here's the lunchbox.
Untaped it.
I actually like this pose.
That's a nice lunchbox. I might get that.
Yeah.
How much was it?
It was like
$16.
16, 15.
Yeah. So yeah, there's stickers, chalk, water container, which is clearly not for toddlers.
Yeah. Well, he says that edge because it doesn't have like a straw tip or something. It's just an open top. So a little kid is just going to spill it. So I don't think it's meant for. I think it's meant for like a school-aged kid, not a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
I think it even says on there, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it says like 6 and up or something.
Yeah.
It said somewhere. I don't know. But it comes with a heart-shaped piece of chalk, a 24-piece puzzle, and then the water bottle and the stickers, 58 stickers in the box.
What's the purple box inside?
It's just a piece of cardboard to hold it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Are those 58 different stickers, or are they just like?
Yes.
No, they're different, but they're a Barney and they're Baby Bop and BJ also, like the one where they're holding hands and all. But
Eight of them is Barney.
Yeah, the stupid one. Yeah. Hey, look at this. Dean went for me. The voice is more projective and clearer. I don't know what world we've entered into, but like it's very different than how we started this entire stream.
Yes, it really is.
It's very different.
What in the absolute hell are you talking about?
It isn't always simple. Like you don't have to lie about it. It's funny because we knew who he was. I always assumed Bob didn't care much about Barney after he left. I thought he saw it as just a job from his past.
Same for years. Before I saw the Purple Tales interview, I just thought, oh, it's probably just, one of those guys who just hid for no reason, just on a farm somewhere. I don't know.
I feel like we're in a different age now, definitely the digital age, because a lot of actors, my experience, Power Rangers, a lot of actors did see it as just a job, but like now that they know they can go to conventions, they can do podcasts and all this kind of stuff, it comes back to them. So I wonder if it's the same for Bob, where he's like, oh, there's people that are here and they're online now and they're talking about my show. Meanwhile, back then, didn't really have the means to do that. It could be a similar thing.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I mean, there just wasn't a social media presence of anything until, a few years ago. So when he first left, he couldn't stay in touch or interact with any fan community because it didn't exist.
He did respond to fan letters though, because Mark Tourette, who's one of the writers on Clubhouse, he got a letter back from Bob when he was 20 plus years ago when he was younger. So
yeah, it's just easier now. And then he also, I think he, like most of them, also jumped on the opportunity of the nostalgia kick like everyone else. There became that wave where people were like going back to their old children's shows and like trying to find those people on social media and things, to where I think part of that played into him also coming out and interacting more too, which is great that he does, because he's, out of everyone with Barney, he's the only one that's actually consistent and shows his appreciation for the fans and anything. Speaks highly of everyone involved, no matter what behind the scenes stuff. Dean, David, like everyone he speaks highly about. So it's great that he does that. The rest of them could stand to do more of it, but if it's only ever just Bob, I'm all right with it. We've been on here a long time. I'm going to do that's going to happen eventually. I'm going to show you guys what the choices were. Let me see what's happening here.
One of the Barney accounts found the display box at their Walmart.
Which display box?
The one carrying these.
Did you say one of the Barney?
Oh, the one that has the 3 in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say?
One of the accounts on Instagram.
Oh.
All right, you guys ready? Let's do the reveal. Here we go. All right, drum roll, please. I was absolutely right. You left in Dragon, Bonjour Barney. Absolutely. You guys are absolutely right. It feels good that I'm right at least 3 times or something on this list. But yeah.
As long as Rock with Barney is on there.
As long as Rock with
that's the worst.
I think where we settle at. As long as that's there, then everything else we've done right. Lukey says, I will not stand for this Pierre slander. We weren't slandering Pierre, just the episode itself. If anything, we were slandering Fred Holmes. He wrote it. But we would never do that because I love Fred. All right. Well, no, this was good. So what's going to happen from here is we're taking a couple months off. And then when we come back, we are going to... Is that a Pokeball?
Yeah, dude. It's 1-to-1 scale. It's pretty neat.
Oh, sick. It lights up? That's dope.
It's like proximity.
Oh, that's sick.
Anyway,
Did you guys see this?
is that a Pokeball?
Oh, sorry, Emmy. Were you being attacked by animals?
Yes.
We gotta go back and watch that replay because I had no idea what was happening. And then someone was like, no, okay.
They just want to give me a hug.
I had no idea anything was
That's
happening.
very nice, Emmy. Anyway,
Oh
That's so
man.
nice.
Yeah, so we're going to take a few months off, and when we come back, we're going to start breaking down the bracket to where we can finally decide what the first or the final episode of the worst episode is. I don't know what that date is yet. We're looking at probably about March or so. Keep an eye out in Barney History Fans and on this YouTube page to find that out. I know there's people asking, are we doing home videos next? And I don't think so.
no.
If I decide to do it and these guys don't want to, because this takes a long time, we'll have to find a way to do that.
Plus, we already know what the worst one is, so it doesn't really matter.
Huh? What?
We already know what the worst one is, so it doesn't really matter.
Do we? What is the worst one?
It's time for counting.
It's not the worst one.
Yes, it
It's
is.
wrongly titled, but it's not the worst video.
Yeah, that makes it the worst.
It does not make it the worst.
Yes, it does. Name me one thing
Here
where
we
they
go.
talk about.
Go ahead. Ask your question.
Name me one thing that prioritizes the subject of the video besides the clock.
The subject of the video wasn't counting. That's why I don't understand
was.
why
Why
Well,
did they name it it? Why did they name it that?
That's exactly what I just tried to say. I don't know why they would choose that title because that wasn't the priority. The priority.
So
was-
why didn't they call it? It's time for book
Josh
time with
Martin.
Booker T or whatever. Yeah, it's Josh and time.
You just call it Josh Martin.
That's not the worst home video. You
Yes,
would
it
be
is.
absolutely wrong in that. If these guys want to do it, then potentially. If not, I'll see if other people want to. I don't know, but right now it's not on our
Barney's
list.
Great Adventure is the greatest piece of physical media ever.
I would love for us to do like some sort of stream when more Barney's World merch comes out and us just like talking about it. I think that would be really fun.
My entire show will be all Barney's World plush.
Let's do a stream just looking at your shelf.
Okay.
I think that would be really cool. Just any like Barney merch thing. I'm not right.
Most of my stuff is gone.
Not right now.
Most of my collection's gone though. Like it would have worked better in my old office, but most of my stuff is in storage now.
Mm.
So, but yeah, we should do that or something. We'll probably do some other random stream between now and then. But worst episode stuff is not going to happen for a few months, just because we want to take a break. I get back to working on our show as far as production wise goes soon, so that is more important to me than Barney. So, but yeah, you'll still see us around. Emmy, we might as well mention it now. If you're in Barney History Fans, Emmy's last week or last few days with us as far as moderator goes is ending by the 1st. So she'll still show up, I think, in these streams when we come back. But otherwise, as far as Barney History Fan stuff goes, she'll no longer be with us anymore. But we'll be introducing who the next moderator is soon. But Emmy, thanks for all the stuff that you've done. We said this on a I messaged you the other day about it too. But thank you for the work that you've done with us for sure.
We've rescinded your 2 weeks.
Yeah, we don't accept it. Or you could be like those bitter companies that go, you don't have to put in your 2 weeks. You can leave now.
You can leave.
Jobs will actually do that.
You have been
Like,
fired.
They do. I know.
Like they rescind your 2 weeks. Like, no, you're staying with us.
Yeah, that's why I don't put in 2 weeks when I was working jobs anymore. It was like, if you can just decide you don't want me to be an employee, like why do I need to give you a heads up that I'm leaving?
Right.
I'm telling you I'm leaving, and in response, you tell me that I'm fired. And so now it's going to be on my. Like,
Yeah, like no. Let's see what the comments are saying before we end this here. I'll be there because I'll be collecting all the Barney's World merch. Just watch and see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna collect it too. My kids love it, so I have to buy it for them. But some of the stuff is just looks cool to me too.
I'm
Man,
gonna
I'm gonna miss being a little goblin in the chat.
We're kind of gone.
We aren't gone forever because we will be back because we have to figure out the official 1 episode. So we will be back. We just want to take a little break. It might be sooner than that because Hedge, Kaylin, and I don't know about Emmy, but we have withdrawals when we don't talk to each other for too long, like face to face. So it might be sooner than that. But it'll be at least a month or so for sure. This feels like the end. Why don't we sing Every Day is Earth Day from season 13? I don't even think they know the words to that song. All right, guys. Anything else? Did I miss out on anything that we didn't mention? Anything new happening that we didn't say yet?
When I think a little more.
And there goes the stream.
All right. Well, that's it for us, everybody. We will see you next time. Peace.